Doodly do. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else to the Fashionably Late reviews of Death's Door. We are always fashionably late, but we still have some words about games. I am your host for this episode, David Mark Moody, the glorious one, and joining me as always is my fabulous co-host, the glorious Amy Kate Alexander. Wasn't hungry a fabulous race today, Amy?
And we're not doing this. We just spent an hour talking about it before the podcast. Look, wholesome games.
You could have still said yes. Okay. How are you? I hope you are well.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Are you ready to talk about Death's Door?
I'm always ready to talk about Death's Door.
Fabulous. Let's crack right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Death's Door. The general information from Open Critic. Go and check that out if you want to. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
Meh.
I don't know.
Don't listen to Open Critic. Listen to us.
Yes. That I like that. I like that. That's that. Listen to what Amy just said. So Death's Door was developed by Acid Nerve and published by Devolver Digital. Right now on Open Critic, it has a mighty Open Critic rating with a top critic average of 87 and a 97% of critics recommend it based on 81 critic reviews. This game is available on Xbox One and the Series X, or the Xboxes, we'll just say that, and PC. The genres are action and RPG. The small description right now is reaping souls of the dead and punching a clock might get monotonous, but it's honest work for a crow. The job gets lively when your assigned soul is stolen and you must track down a desperate thief to a realm untouched by death, where creatures grow far past their expiry and overflow with greed and power. That's all I'm going to say. Amy.
That's not all you're going to say.
Well, that's all I'm going to say for the description. That's true. Amy, Death's Door, I think it's fair to say, for me, is one hell of a game.
I think I agree with that. Xbox console exclusive for the win.
Yes,
which no one's talking about.
People say they don't have games.
Which no one's talking about. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Death's Door's amazing. Like, holy shit. Like, for so many reasons that we're going to get into in the course of this video, but like top level, like what? Wow. Where did this come from? I hadn't even heard of this game until a couple of months ago. And even then it was only because Keith picked it up on Fantasy Critic and I was like, oh, what's Death's Door? Like, and it's just one of the best games of the year. Like, what? I was blindsided. I feel like I was blindsided by this game.
Yeah, we both knew about the game because our friend Keith obviously has it on Fantasy Critic. He's been hyped for this game for a while and everything. We're still waiting for you to play it, Keith, so we can talk to you about it. So kind of get on that, mate. But no, yeah. So we obviously knew what it was coming and everything, but we didn't know much about it. And then it all dropped, and everybody's like been talking nothing but great things about this game. Yeah, I know there's like a couple of negatives out there, but that's obviously all subjective to that part. But yeah, this game it was a great landing point. Like last week, we talked about Last Stop, and I said that was a great, nice little palate cleanser after finishing this game. Because I finished this game, then I went on to the Last Stop, and this was just a great game because obviously, I'll say right now, I love the combat. The combat was really good. The combat is so intuitive and so ingenious that you are able to do things that I didn't think you would be able to do, and half the time when I found out you could do it, it was just by accident that I could do it.
Right? Yeah. Like, this is the ultimate game, right? Where you look at something with the tools that you have available, or in the environment or whatever's going on, and you look at something and you go, I wonder what happens if I do this. And there's always an answer. Like, something will always happen. If you look at something and go, like, if you look at the fire pots, right? And you know how you have to solve the puzzles. You have to solve puzzles by, like, firing arrows through the fire pots into the fire pots. And then, like, in combat, like, in my head, I was doing a fight and there was a fire pot and I went, if I shoot an arrow through that into an enemy, is it going to set them on fire? And then you go, and it does.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, that's amazing. Like, it's all these little things that just build up, like, for me in this game, what makes it really, really special. But yes, the combat is impeccable. I think I'm going to go with that word.
I think that's really fair. Like, on many cases, like I already found out that you could hit back a fireball when I
Did
just
it by
was
accident.
swinging.
just-
I was fighting something else. I was fighting something else, and the fireball obviously came flying me, and I obviously went, and I just saw. Wait, did I just hit that back?
Yeah, like I
Wait,
did it
what?
with those. I did it with these. You'll have seen them if you're watching the gameplay footage. Like the little green spirits that follow you around. They
Yeah,
get fired at you sometimes, and I did it by accident. I hate those things were the bane of my existence. I hated them so much until I hit one by accident, and I was like, "Wait, you can hit these," and they go flying, and they hit other enemies.
yeah.
And I was like, "Hold on." And that's again, it's the same thing. It's like, hold on. So when a wizard fires something at me, can I do that to them? Bam, yes, I can.
Yep.
I just one
Yeah.
shot. And like at a certain point, because obviously I played the game all the way at the end. Like I've upgraded my strength so much that I can hit the thing back and it one shots them. And I'm just like, this game is amazing.
Yeah, I absolutely I adored what I played of this game. I love the visual art style they chose. I think the visual art style is absolutely beautiful and fantastic. Shout out to the two people who made this game, because, ladies and gentlemen, it was just two people who created this game from Acid Nerve, and like,
I think I'm on a run of
respect to them.
games where it's like they've been made by so few people.
Yeah, indie games, ladies and gentlemen, they
Indie
might be the
games.
best things out there.
Might be. They might be the best things out there. Maybe.
It might be the most
Maybe.
wholesome thing you'll ever play.
I mean, it's ironic that I'm wearing this T-shirt when we're recording 2 episodes of this, when neither of the games are wholesome games, but
but they're still indie games.
they're still indie games.
Yeah,
But yeah, my camera just will not focus in.
it will not. Yeah,
It's just not doing it. There
it's
we
the
go.
awesomeness of that shirt.
It's just too awesome for this. So like, yeah, with the combat, obviously it's isometric.
Zelda-like.
Kind of like Zelda-like, kind of like Zelda-like dungeon crawler type thing, but like it's very deliberately paced. It reminded me, and not in terms of difficulty. I don't want this sentence to put anyone off, but it reminded me of like Dark Souls, Bloodborne type thing, where it's like the combat is really deliberately paced, which makes it really easy to read. So like dodging and like I didn't block it. I don't think I blocked a single thing in this game. I didn't even realize you could until I just pulled the trigger at one point and was like, wait, there's a block button?
Wait, that's a block button?
There's a block button.
I had no idea, and I've completed this game. Wait,
yeah,
it's
just
like
like-
legit a block button.
I'm pretty sure there's a block button. But like, yeah, it's just like you dodge rolling around and like enemy attacks are telegraphed and like the combat is it engages you at all times, right? It's not like too difficult. Like there's some difficulty spikes at certain points, which are obviously planned and baked into the gameplay, but like it just feels so satisfying. Like one of the things this game does incredibly well is you've got your melee weapons, and like you can collect different ones and like use whichever one suits your player style. I think I used them all at one point, apart from the umbrella. I settled on the greatsword, which is the most difficult weapon to find in the game. But like you also get your powers, right? So you start off with a bow and an arrow, and then you start collecting other stuff like bombs and fireballs, which are like part of the exploration. But like the thing I love that this game does is like you have to use your melee attack to recharge your ability. So like if you look if you look on the screen, you just hit something. So you can hit like jars or mushrooms or basically boxes, anything. If you hit anything with your melee
Or
weapon, you'll
flowers.
yeah.
I can believe that without thinking, wait, I'm charging back up just by killing the flower.
You can charge back up just by bashing shit. It's great. But like, yeah, so you can like fire the bow and arrow 4 times without upgrades. And then once you've used those 4 shots, you don't get them back until you hit something 4 times. So this like on top of like the combat just feeling amazing and like in general, like I love that rhythm that that you end up with, where it's just like, okay, pam, pam, like you use the bow, and then it's like, cool, now you go in and you hit them, and then it's like, cool, now you roll back and you've got your ranged abilities back, and it's just the rhythm and the feeling like of every combat encounter in this game. I loved all of it. I loved fighting all the enemies. I loved all the different like scenarios, like with like all the different mixes of enemies. And the environments and stuff. I love the boss fights. Like I loved all of them apart from the run up to the last boss, like which fucking almost destroyed my soul. But I love the fight itself. Like I just loved every fight in this game, without question.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you when it comes to each fight of the boss, apart from that last one, because the run up was just a pain in the ass. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm gonna be frankly honest with you. The run up for me personally, for a person who has slow hand-eye coordination, I'm just like, why are you doing this to me, you bastard?
It's like I got through that. It's essentially a gauntlet, I think it's called, in the game, and it's just like I got through it by memorization, not by reactions and reflexes. Like in the end, I'd just done it so many times and died that I just memorized where everything was. Like, and that's how I ended up getting through it with 1 health left. By the way, when I got to the boss, I was almost dead.
Yeah, that was what happened with me as well. But I will get onto it when I get to my negatives for this.
But the boss fight itself was my favorite boss fight. Like, which is great. Yeah, which is great because you get to the end of the game. Sort of. You get to the end of the game, and the last thing you do in the game is my favorite thing in the game. It's just like that just says to me the game's just built itself up to this peak where it's just like I finished the game and I was like, I am more satisfied right now than I have been reaching the credits of a video game in 2021. And that's why I kept going for the secret ending, the post game.
Yeah. I didn't go for the secret ending because that's just not my style. Personally, I finished the game. This is the game they were going for. That's me. I'm done. Fantastic. Boom. And if I want to see the secret ending, I can just this thing called YouTube.
You can just YouTube it. It's fine. That's perfectly valid. Like, I didn't go for the secret ending because I was like, brew game. I went for the secret ending because I was like, I want to play more. I just want to play more of this game. Like,
no, that's completely fair. I understand that. My favorite boss was the Toad.
Toad was a good boss fight. The Frog King.
Yeah, Frog King. I loved it. Just goes with the title he puts up when he reveals himself and when you're about to fight him. That's insane. I was like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was awesome. You'll have to play it to see it, ladies and gentlemen.
Every boss fight was great. Every boss fight was great. There's one up on the screen right now of the witch in the end. And that was a good boss fight. They're all
different and unique, and that's what's made it so great because you aren't the same. You're doing something different each time. And I like that about that, and it teaches you in such a really good way. I was like the Frog King part. There's parts that are happening, and I was thinking, okay, how do I get this thing back here? Because if I don't get this thing back, I can't move and I'm dead. So wait, and I was thinking, wait. Oh shit,
you do that. Yeah.
If I do that,
I've seen this thing throughout my time coming through this level.
Yeah.
So if I just do the thing that I've been doing, and then you go, and then you feel clever when you figure it out. Like, it's like there's an achievement, and because I don't want to spoil anything about the game, there's an achievement tied to that boss, which I got, not because I saw the achievement and I was like, I'm going to do the achievement, but because, and it's a very rare achievement on Steam as well, but because I've played adventure games like this before, and I was like, the boss does a certain thing. And in any other video game where I have this type of item, if I throw that at this moment, and it's another one of those moments where I was basically like, what if I do this? And then it's like, oh, the developers have thought of that. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. The game is very intuitive to think of, like, if you're going to think this, I can guarantee you're probably going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So,
everything. I think I was
so good.
And then there's the stuff you found by accident. I think I was about, and I want to talk like specifically like in a section of its own about exploring this world. But I think I was about 6 or 7 hours in before I figured out that there were secret tunnels beneath all of the levels, and I accidentally found one, and then I was like, but then it's that click in my head of like, oh wait,
I've gone past a ton of them.
So that's what all those things were for.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
3 times I sat 3 different nights, I think it was. I sat down saying, "Today I'm going to finish Death's Door," and then I discovered something else that made me run around the world for a few hours, and I was like, "Shit, I didn't finish it. I didn't even make any progress. I just found loads of new secret stuff. Oh, bollocks!"
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really good. Like the gameplay is so well done. The visuals are beautiful and
It's such a
stunning. I really,
gorgeous
really,
game.
really, yeah, really love it. I love the score they have on it. The score's so well realized, especially when it gets to the hype moments of like fighting the bosses and everything. It's really, really, really good, and I really enjoy it about that. Anything else you want to shout out before we get into like some things that
So
didn't work
much,
for us?
so much. But I'll do because like the exploration, right? Like, so this is a world that's separated into different biomes, right? So it's like biomes and dungeons. You've got the central hub, which is the graveyard, the Lost Graveyard, which is where you more or less start the game, which branches off into the 3 different biomes, and then those different biomes have dungeons that you have to go through. So like it's very sort of standard for a Zelda-like action adventure game. And the first time you go through them, you might find a secret or two. If you actually like figure out what like say these weird circular things on the floor do, you'll find even more. Like I said, didn't figure that shit out until about 9 hours into the game. But like as you start like acquiring new abilities, there's like 4 abilities you can acquire throughout the game. One you start with the bow and arrow, and like then you go back, right? So there was a moment where when I got everything, I got all 4 of the abilities. I was like, I'm going to explore everything I've already. I'm going to go back to everywhere I've been, and I'm just going to look around everywhere. And like, I was doing the estate of the Urnwitch, which is like the first other biome you go to. And I was like, I'm just going to look around and see what I didn't see the last time, and do all this cool stuff with like all of my new abilities and like all of my knowledge of everything that I found. And it's like. And it was at that moment where I was like walking around this map that I'd already gone through once, where I was like, wait, it's like there's a whole extra level, like here, hidden. Like, if you can figure out how to get to it, like, you can use the grappling hook thing, and it's like, cool, there's a grappling hook point over here, and then there's this huge area you can explore. You can figure out, and I'm going to give you guys this one for free because I didn't figure this out until right near the end of the game. You can walk into some of the hedges. And that's not a special ability. That's just a thing that you could do that you could have done the entire time that I didn't figure out till about 12 hours into the game. And I was like, cool. And you walk through those, and it's like, oh my god, like there's literally like everything that you see the first time through, and then like everything you see if you just go looking for it, and it's like double the level. It's like an entirely new level. And I was like, this is what I want from a game like this. Where it's just like I go left instead of right, I find something awesome. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
The exploration on this game is absolutely really brilliant. It is really well done and really, really well realized. And I really like that battle. Like everything you've just said, I think is absolutely so spot on. Basically, just when you find those hidden paths, those hidden parts, those hidden tunnels, and everything, I think it's like really, really, really well done. And like it could basically each time you finish a certain boss, it's telling you now go and explore, basically, because you now have this new ability type of thing to go and do this type of thing to unlock certain elements that you weren't able to unlock before.
And there's a lot to unlock. Like
yeah,
you find the shinies, which are like the collectibles, and they're cool. Some of them will actually help you solve puzzles, by the way. And then like, but then it's like, okay, like you find a weapon that you wouldn't find if you just follow the path. Like in the game, there's an entire weapon, which turned out to be my favorite weapon. And then there's like shrines where you can upgrade how much ammo you can have and how much health you can have. And then there's just so much. And the way the world, each of the biomes like connects back and around and onto itself. And I never had a map in this game, but like considering like you. Especially in the overgrown forest area where it's like you enter the dungeon and then you can come out the dungeon up here and then like you jump down and then like and I never felt lost ever. Like I always knew where I was going and I was like, that's impressive. because this game is
Very
very interconnected. It's very easy to get lost in. And you know me, Moody. I got lost in Sable with a compass. I had a compass
Yes, you
that
did.
pointed me at things, and I was still like, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. And this game doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, the game is like, I've loved everything what I played of it. So when I was playing it, I was just like I played it so much that Amy couldn't play it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why we did Last Stop first, because I had to play something else.
Yes.
The last thing I want to shout out, and I'll probably think of other things that I'll probably want to shout out in a bit, but the last thing I want to shout out is I really like the healing system. Because it's just so quirky and unique. Where it's just like, there's pots in the world. And then you get these seeds, which are another thing that you can explore to find. And then you put the seeds in the pots, and you can heal at those pots. You don't carry, like, health around, right? You don't, like, drink a potion or whatever. So it's like, you can only heal at these pots. And I was like, that's really cool, actually. I really like that a lot. It's very different and very interesting. And also, if you plant a thing in the pot, and then you come back later, you go through the door, back to the level up place. The junction? I can't remember what it's called. The Hall of Doors. And then you go back. Yeah, and then you come back to the world. There's these little cute little forest spirits next to them. There's these tiny little forest, and they'll follow you around.
Yeah.
And I
Cute
got
and adorable as well.
It took me 20 minutes of work, but I was like, there's an achievement for getting 10 of them to follow you around at once. And it took me some work, but I did it for no other reason than I had to.
To get the achievement, yeah.
They're so little cute little things. I was like, I have to collect them. They're all my babies.
I was like, I have a sword here.
I got to admit, the first time I saw one, I panicked and attacked it.
Will the game allow me to do this?
No.
Oh, yeah.
They cower up, don't they? They're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? We were coming to be nice to you. Why are you doing this to us? You big meanie. My voice went really sweet, you know.
That was good. That was a good impression of a forest spirit.
Very good, very good. All right, let's get on to, as always, there's every game is not perfect, so there are some gripes I'm sure out for both me and Amy. So what is one gripe you have for this game, Amy?
Nah, I'm good. What do you got?
The severe lack of accessibility on this game.
Good point.
I think the severe lack of accessibility on this game is a detriment towards it. I think it's like you and me, we champion for all games to be able to be playable for anybody around the world in any situation that they're able to do, and the accessibility is it's the stuff there, but it's basically also very minimal.
It's very minimal. Like,
yeah,
I only really need, like, for me personally, I only really need one thing for accessibility in a game like this, and that's, can I turn the screen shakedown? And I could. So for me, spot on. But yeah, like, now you said it, and I immediately thought, yes, actually, that was a thing that I don't have my notebook, but that was a thing that I recognized instantly. Like, the accessibility options in Desktop aren't there. Like, I was gonna say they're not great, but they're not there. Like, and there's this one thing it does, which I clocked immediately as being like, ooh, I don't know about this. Which is like, there's a lot of moments in this game where the screen just flashes white.
Yeah,
briefly, and I was like, and I remember seeing that the first time it happened and being like, was that a good idea to put in your game?
Yep.
I don't know about that, because that even made me sort of go, wait, what?
You're like, my eyes. Yeah. For thing that, like, for me, I think basic accessibility needs to have a voice option, a voiceover option, a narration of some sort for the story and everything. Because if I have to read something, I'm just like, I can't read very well. I admit that. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not the best reader. And if I have to, like, but I want to know the story. I want to enjoy the story and everything. And I can tell you probably the basic minimums about what this story is. But at the same time, I don't think I was able to suck myself in for the story or even care anything about the other certain characters and whatnot for it, because I'm just like,
I mean, it's an interesting
I don't know what
story.
the hell's happened. I don't know what's happened because I'm just like I struggle to read because I get annoyed and vexed at it. I'm just like skip this. All right, don't need to read this. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get back to the combat. What is fantastic, which I love
Okay.
and everything. But
I was
I also go on.
no, I was literally about to say like voiceover is the one thing, the one accessibility thing I can sort of give them a pass for because voice actors are expensive. But I had an incident. Yesterday with a computer, right, where the on-screen narrator, the reader, turned itself on, and there was a lot of text on the screen, and it drove me a bit mad before I figured out how to turn it off. And I was like, yeah, you could just like, it wouldn't be ideal, but you could have that. Like, it's gonna be like the robot voice reading the text for you, so it wouldn't be like voice acted. But I was just like, yeah, there is actually a really fairly easy, like relatively easy way to solve that accessibility problem.
Yeah.
Just a reader doesn't even have to. It doesn't have to be voice acted.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, you won't get the performance of the voice acting, but you'll be able to you'll be able to engage with the story better. I would have thought.
Yeah, no doubt about that. A lack of map. I'll say this right now. I got lost a few times. I was thinking, how do I get back to the place I need to go? Damn it, I died. Why do I and everything like that? And I don't mind exploring in games. I love it exploring in games, but there's also parts where I'm just like, okay, I've done exploring. I now want to go and fight the big boss. I'm ready. Let's go. And everything like that. And because there's no map and everything, I'm just like, why aren't you showing me where to go and everything like that? Why at least tell me? And like, and this is the thing.
Dave,
yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like. I'm just like, and it's just like, I want to now progress and everything, and I don't feel like these are options like that can be put in, but other gamers don't need them. They can literally say, "Well, I don't need that. Thank you. I just want to go like you. You love the exploration, the exploring and everything, and just finding everything, and I loved it as well. But it was like a point where I hit a wall. I was like, I do now want to move on and do the game. You were happy to go boom, 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 boom everywhere, and you were loving that experience, and I championed for that. But like gamers, for me, I'm just like, all right, I'm now ready to move to do the thing. Give me a map to say I'm going this direction to find the boss. That's all I need to know, and I'm fine. And like those type of things. That's I think there's like a while. I think we've hit a wall apart where there's certain. A while ago, there was certain levels of accessibility that was just the basic choice of how loud you want your volume, the words on there for you, etc., etc. Do you want to hear the noise, the themes? How loud do you want that, and game sound, and vice versa, and all like that. But those are now just the basic requirements of just what you're saying. This is just what we expect. I think we need to raise that bar up to say, we should expect a map just to help people who get lost or something like that. We should expect that we should have a narration in there for us to help a person who's not great at reading and everything like that. It sucks me out of it.
Yeah,
I think these are the levels that we need now to start raising up in the industry in general. I can appreciate this is a 2-team game, but there's been many games out there that have been made by not a big team who
it's a
are putting
2-person game published by Devolver Digital, so like the resources are there because it's not like they're on their own. Like there's everything, like colorblind mode, like there's a ton of stuff that could have made its way into this game to make it more accessible.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and that was just a bit of a thing that knocked it down for me. I'm just like, these are just basic life improvements. I just think just make the game more enjoyable because because they're there. They're just there. Like you won't use them, Amy, unless you get really vexed at this game.
If I get really vexed at the game, I'm going to stop playing the game.
As well. For me, I'm just like, I'm really enjoying it, but I want to get moving on to the next thing. And that's how it is for me. And so I was very disappointed for that. Other than that, like, that's basically it when it comes for it. That's the only real negative I have. There's one thing I want to shout out that I champion was the thing when you were fighting an enemy that they cracked basically and went red. I love that because that's their health meter, and that's when you knew you were getting close, and that's fantastic. I championed that. I thought that was an incredible little thing.
Because, and again, I've just been like, as somebody who came out of Dark Souls 3 like 2-3 weeks ago, like that was cool because it wasn't like a health bar where you could see it go down, and it was like you know you're close, but you don't know how close.
Yeah.
I like that. That was cool. Apart from the part
But
where I was
because
like, I'm pretty sure I was one hit away and I got killed.
yeah,
I was pretty sure I was there.
yeah, and that's what, but that's how ingenious the mechanics are for this game. Because when you're fighting a boss, you know that oh, we've hurt you, and we know we're really close because their whole combat changes and they change it up to
Yeah,
try and make you
new
fight even
phases.
differently now. Yeah, and that's great
It
mechanics which I absolutely adore and love.
it 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 has a lot of not that has a lot of cool knock-on effects in how you approach a fight with a boss in this instance, which when you can see a health bar and you can see it's pretty close, you might do something stupid because you're like, if I just get a few more hits in, this boss is over, and you might do something really dumb. Whereas when you're not 100% sure where you're at, if it focuses you on the fight itself.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you do when you get good at a Souls game. Like, you stop paying attention to like how much damage you're doing and whatever, and it's literally just you're memorizing the boss's attack patterns, right? So even if you're only one hit away from killing it, it's like you need to dodge because it's about to do something. Don't be an idiot and try and hit it, because you'll die. And like that takes that, but makes it a part of the gameplay mechanics, where it's just like they're cracked up and they're really red, but I don't know if one hit's going to do it, so I'm just going to keep fighting this boss like I'm supposed to fight this boss.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty cool. Like, that's pretty cool. You just made me think of that. No, I like it.
Thank you. Yes.
I chuckled before, not at the accessibility thing, because I looked at the gameplay and I watched one of those. I made one of those rolling guys roll off the edge of the level and kill
Oh yeah.
itself.
So that's really funny. Yeah, I won't lie. Yeah. It's like it's a
I was like,
ladies and gentlemen,
sucker.
everyone, this game is a great game. I can't deny that. It is a fabulous game and it hits a lot of great points that you really want and everything like that. But if you're also a person who like suffers with things like with what we've just shouted out and everything for accessibility and everything, this may not be the game for you. But other than that, buy this game. I'm just gonna say it, just buy this game. If you feel like you can play it.
There's a game review website called Can I Play That, which is focused exclusively on reviewing games from an accessibility perspective. Because as much as we can talk about accessibility options and whether they exist or not, and whether they're present or not, we don't really use them. We don't really need to use most accessibility options. So I don't think while we'll talk about it and we'll champion accessibility, like in a review scenario, we're not the best people to go, well, it's good or it's bad or it's the best or it's the worst. We can just point out what's there or not and say, hey, you could do better. But like, if you want to actually like pair up our criticism of a game with like, can I play that? Go to the web, like check out Can I Play That. They're a fantastic website and they literally that's their entire thing of like reviewing a game. It's awesome. Just thought I'd shout
I'll shout out as well as Steven Slater as well, the blind gamer. He is a guy who champions accessibility for a lot of people and to try and obviously make the game to hopefully like champion it for all games and everything.
Oh yeah,
and he's definitely going to try to check it out as well.
This is becoming a PSA, but like you should go out there and find people who stream on Twitch or like or on social media and stuff who are blind and deaf and colorblind and stuff, because watching them play games is actually pretty cool. Like Super Blind Man on Twitch, I watched him a while ago playing Animal Crossing, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm learning a lot, and I'm enjoying myself as well. But anyway,
we all want to enjoy ourselves,
and
that's cool.
We all want to enjoy ourselves and better ourselves. But let's go back to Death Store. I love this.
What else do you want to say?
I love this game.
I do as well.
It's amazing.
I completely agree. So I think it's fair to say we both recommend this game, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely.
Wow.
Like, I was so impressed. Like, I enjoy games, right? Like, I'll be playing a game and enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be playing a game and I'll be enjoying it a lot. There are very few games ever. Like sometimes, like even in an entire year, I won't play a game like this where I'm impressed, like constantly as I'm playing it. Where I'll be impressed by lots of things. Like we didn't even talk about the sign.
We have on the podcast.
We
before.
did. This is that. This is a different thing, where it's like where if you chop a sign, the text box gets chopped too. There's so many things, big and small, in this game where I was like, that's actually impressive.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about the story, and I agree. I wasn't really that engaged with the story, and I think it's probably to the game's detriment that the story gets a lot better, both like as you play it and in hindsight if you do the post game stuff. Like you get a lot of context for a lot of stuff, and the ending's wild, which is cool but also not great because you got to do the right. Like people, it's like the Nier Automata paradox, where it's like if you don't know you have to play the game, hit new game again. You're probably not going to come out of that going, I don't get why everybody loved this so much, but yeah. I don't want to talk about the post game because that's just spoilerific territory.
Definitely, and we don't really want to spoil anything really. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is our review. Let us know what you think of the game. Did you like it? Are you in the middle, or did it just not work for you? Leave a comment down below, as it is that time for us to get out of here and go and play more games for us to eventually review them late. Because we are the Fashionably Lit Reviews Show, and we are out of here. Say bye, Amy.
10 out of 10 on the delivery of that line.